Hey everybody, it's Lex from PDQ.com. So we're ready to go back to work. I'm saying that with a big question mark after it. Is anyone ever really ready to go back to work? Yeah, maybe. I'm going to take you guys through some things that you need to check, just to make sure that, you've got your PDQ set up correctly. Well, it's going to be set up correctly, just to make sure you're not missing anything that might have slipped through the cracks while you've been working remote. Should we jump in? All right, first thing you're going to want to check is, do you have a new version of PDQ Inventory and Deploy? Do you need a new license? Where you're going to check that is usually right down in this area, right down there. Can you make me disappear, JJ? There we go, right there. So that area, you're going to find, you'll get notices like, we'll pop up here, like this one right here, all these, okay? These are all notices of things you probably should know about. Now, in regards to updates, currently we're on version 19.0.40, 19.40. I'm not even gonna give it. It's 19, guys. If you're in the beta version, obviously you got some nightly releases there, but that's where you click on this to actually get that. Now, if you need to update your licensing, come up to help. You go to license, and then enter new license. This is where you'd paste in your new license. It's very possible your license could have lapsed, or you got a new license out there available for you. That's where you're gonna put it. It's going to keep you up to date, keep your auto downloads coming, and all that. So that first thing I would check right out the gate. Now, once you've done that, another thing you're going to want to take a look at is your credentials. Is it possible that some of the credentials you're using have expired? Now, with inventory, again, I'm going to just run a quick scan. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to kick off just the computer info scan. I already ran scans earlier this morning. Now, if your credentials have expired or changed, you're going to start seeing this kind of thing right here. Username or password's incorrect. Now, it's interesting that those two didn't run, but the rest of them did. So where is the credential? What credential am I using? So let's just go take a look at the two places you need to look for your credentials. The first one's your background service. My background service is Quintana. If Quintana has been changed, or that kind of thing, if the password's changed and it's not changed here, there's a very, very good chance, not many of these are going to run. The service itself is not going to start, and you're going to have a very good chance that you've disabled the password if you've got a number of incorrect password attempts set in your DC. So that's one place to check that. The other place is under options and credentials. Now you notice I've got 3 or 4 different ones in here. To find out which ones these specific ones are using, you can just right click on the computer that has it and go down to your select scan user, and you'll notice I've got Vincent. Apparently Vincent's password's wrong in my credentials. My guess is this is probably going to be Vincent also. It is. So let's go change Vincent's password. Again, go back to credentials. We're just going to go edit. And then hopefully, I haven't done this so many times it's been disabled, but put in the new password. And the best thing is you just have Jordan do it in the text for everybody, in the chat for everybody. Put your password.
I don't do local admin accounts. I only put my own credentials in the chat.
Ah, your own credentials? Mm-hmm. So this is a local admin account, and you saw I did test it. I hit test. I selected a computer, and yeah, it ran. So that's now good. I bet you if I scan these guys again, we'll just run that computer scan on that, and we should get those scans to go. So credentials, any thoughts, any comments on credentials that you've seen?
Well, you can add the scan user as a column. So if you're having a whole bunch, instead of going into each one and see what the scan user is, you can just add that, and then you can sort by that and kind of get that. Oh,
I like that. Scan user. Quickly. So go in here. There it is, scan user. I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to use it as a fix, so it should pop it right. Yep. Here it is. There's Vincent. Yep.
I'm going to give no credit to Colby, who's the one that put it in chat.
No credit to Colby. Nice. All right, well, there it is. Now to get rid of it, you can delete it, or I just like to drag them off, and it's gone.
I actually didn't know you could do that.
You didn't know you could drag it out?
Nope.
Oh. All right, I've taught somebody something. Woo! Let's call it a day.
That's awesome.
All right, so, okay, check your background services, check your credentials. Again, same thing in Deploy. You're going to want to check your background service. We're Quintana here, and then, again, options, credentials. And, nope, no Vincent in this one. We're good to go. The other nice thing about this, let's say if you do deployments like deploy once up here, and you'll notice right here, use the PDQ inventory scan user credentials first. Highly suggest that because then you don't have to keep track of which credentials to use when you're doing deployments. Inventory does it for you. Just a little thought there. Well, is it possible that in working remote, you guys added a bunch of new computers, like laptops, remote machines? And I just want to make sure we get these up to date, get them added into inventory. Best way to do that would be obviously Active Directory Sync. A lot of ways to do it, but Active Directory Sync, let's just talk about that one at this point. First thing, let's just talk about our delete modes. Okay, here are your delete modes, and this is what they mean. Import only means we are going to read what's in Active Directory, import it, put it in PDQ inventory for you. We'll do scans in that, but if it gets removed from Active Directory, it's the only person doing maintenance on inventory is going to be you. The second would be mixed sync, which means it's going to import, but it's not going to delete any computers that you've added through network discovery or add them on your own. So if you've got workgroup machines and Active Directory, that's the one you want to use. And my personal favorite is where Active Directory is king, and that's the full sync. It'll delete computers when you take them out of inventory. It'll take them out of deploy and inventory. Or when you take it out of Active Directory, it'll get them out of inventory. So with that, again, it's always good to have an auto sync enabled. I just enabled mine for 7 days. I'm going to save that. If it hasn't been 7 days since then, you're gonna, since the last sync, you want to hit sync now. I had 35 machines, and now it's jumped up to 48 machines. And let's just kind of take a look at what we've got going on with these guys. Oh, check that out. A bunch of machines that I actually should have deleted that I've gotten rid of. The machines are gone, but they're still in Active Directory. I'm going to sort by scan status, so check that out. Well, of course I can go in here and I can delete these from inventory. Oh, a lot of people wonder if I delete them from inventory, are they going to delete from Active Directory? No, we read only. And proof of that is this. The next time that sync runs, which I'll just kick it off once more, it's going to re-add all those. So sync it. And again, you'll saw, there we go, we're back up to 48. There they are, they're queued up and they're going to be offline. So a couple of ways to take care of those. If you cannot, if it's company policy not to delete stuff out of Active Directory, you can go and disable them. Because you notice right here, sync disabled computers is left off by default. So if you disable them, they're not going to sync. The other way to do it is you go into Active Directory and you build yourself a group or a OU or a whatever it is. I built this guy right here, old web computers, and I put all those in there. And you can exclude that from your Active Directory sync. So I don't have to worry about deleting these anymore. All I've got to do is go into the Active Directory sync and go to exclude a container. And I'm going to go down to that web old. There we go. Give that an OK. And I'm going to move this. I'm going to hit this and to sync and then move it real quick so you can see these guys are going to get removed. So sync. I'll save my settings. It starts the sync. And there you go. You'll see those guys are getting removed. Now, not all of them are in there. Obviously, I had a few that I left for various reasons, but all I've got to do now is do this, and they'll be gone until the next time it syncs, and I'll have to deal with it again. So, again, 2 ways to take care of those. Disable them. Make sure you're not syncing disabled computers. Actually, there's 3 ways. The second way, put them in a group or an OU and exclude that container. And third, you can clean up your Active Directory and make them go away forever. So, any thoughts on that, Jordan?
I know you pretty much covered all of that. With the Active Directory, I know when there's a lot of scenarios where you just can't delete machines for X amount of time. My first thought was the OU that you did. That's what I would have done at.
Yeah. Should we hit a question?
Dear Lex and Jordan, currently working from home and our computers are on VPN, so they always have a different IP address each day, most likely. What do you suggest so we can make easy connections for deployments? Always seems to be some DNS issues. Sincerely, Javon G. Hey,
I'm just going to Javon G. I can't even say it cool like that. All right, G. I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said DNS, right? Because that's really what you're going to have to do. We've been talking a lot about VPN connections and that in the last couple of webcasts, and we've got some videos out there. It all really, in my opinion, boils down to how aggressive your scavenging is and how your VPN's set up. Beyond the VPN setup, which obviously is much more than I can obviously cover here, aggressive scavenging is probably going to be your best. Jordan, any thoughts?
Well, in our GitHub, the bonus content, we did something on this where I have a PowerShell script that will more aggressively remove stale DNS entries. Obviously something you're going to want to test and make sure it's doing what you want to do, but it should go through. It attempts to ping the device on IP, and you can set it so it either has expired or not, but if it can't ping, then it will just remove it from the DNS.
Well, that's another way to do it.
That one's far more aggressive, but it's definitely something, if you're going to use it, test it thoroughly.
Test it first? Yeah. Thoroughly? Okay. Well, there you go. So again, DNS, I love Briggs' quote. I wish he was here. 80% of your problems, network problems, are DNS, and so are the other 20. So, which it's kind of great because, speaking of DNS, that's actually what we're going to talk about next.
All right.
So, if you run into, we've made a change, okay? A lot of times you're going to see target name mismatch, computer offline can't be reached. I've only got those two showing right now, but let me show you. We've taken that, basically the target name mismatch, and broken it down so it's a little easier for you guys to figure out what actually is happening on the back. And because I didn't load the nightly update, and I didn't want to shut down a bunch of firewall things to make this happen because I was afraid I'd mess up the webcast, I've got some screenshots, and when I say I've got screenshots, Jordan was kind enough to provide us some screenshots of the current errors that you're going to, the new errors. So now you may see, instead of just the target name mismatch, you may see an NTLM target name mismatch, and that's right, obviously right, there's the error, okay? Basically, what happened is the PDQ server connected to a computer, expected it to be one computer, and a different computer answered. So that's your NTLM. Anything on that you want to add, Jordan?
No, it's just we had the default error that wasn't clear. So I think overall the purpose is we split up the errors so they're more Googleable.
Googleable?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Googleable is the new word for the day. Use it. The other one you're going to see, is, hopefully I didn't click the wrong thing here. There we go. The Kerberos target account name is incorrect. Basically, when the PDQ server tried to connect to that one, the account information in Kerberos, you all know, does your authentication. Okay, whether it's computer authentication, password authentication, Kerberos authentication, it was incorrect. Now, the nice thing about that, it is going to throw errors, and you should see those in the logs. So you should be able to see security Kerberos errors to try and diagnose that. But basically, it attempted to connect, and that's the area you got. It had brought issues. And then, of course, there's the the specified network name is no longer available. That's something you've all seen before. That's basically, it shows up when the machine's unavailable and you can't find it.
Yep. And I can't recall if we made this clear. These errors will show up in the latest nightly build, but they're not part of the full release yet.
Yeah, that's correct. The next production update it'll be in, or if you're running the nightly updates, the betas, they're in there now. So yeah, thank you for making that clear that this is not, it's coming, guys. It is coming. So just so you know, something for you to see when you get the new version. Once again, DNS, and I always lean back on videos, any of the videos on DNS where Briggs in it, those are going to be quality, because that guy is like a DNS and bind savant. I never argue DNS with Briggs, so check on those. Again, it's mostly your scavenging. Check your scavenging, make sure it's set up, and then if you want to get more aggressive, obviously you can grab Jordan's PowerShell script and test that one.
Yep, and then we did put a link to that in the chat, and we probably will add it to the YouTube video after this, make sure it's available for people.
Excellent. Do we want to take another question before I move on?
Hey, Lex and Jordan, in PDQ Inventory, the current user column might show locked or disconnected. When is that updated? Now, last scan, or last heartbeat? Thanks, Craig.
All right, current user. That's as of the last scan. I mean, just that's when that information is grabbed. So you're on computer information scan, it's going to grab that information right there. Any thoughts? Anything to expand on that?
On the last scan, but I did get a clarification when we were talking about the new errors. You said they're in the beta, and they are not.
They're not.
They're in the nightly only.
Sorry, excuse me, guys.
Yep.
I am glad that there are people here to correct my errors.
I missed it too. We all need a Colby.
So thank you, Colby. Guys, it's in the nightlies, not in the beta, and it's not production yet, but it's coming. So hopefully that answers that. That comes from the scan, your last current scan. So if you want to run that, it should get updated. Then you want to do another question, or should I jump to the next? All right. The next thing you want to check, and this, we're going to jump. This is in inventory and deploy, and then we're going to move over to deploy after this. Is actually, I'm going to do two things before we move to deploy. Your network options, okay? Just to make sure everything's running smooth, if you go to preferences and you go to network, right here, your heartbeat, okay? Surprise, surprise, you added a bunch of laptops, so now you've got more machines running. Just make sure you're not in this endless heartbeat ping loop, and usually if you're over 2,000 machines, maybe 3,000 machines, you may want to expand that. I think we're doing 32, are we doing 32 or 64 pings at a time? I can't remember the exact number, but there's some easy math that you can do once you know that number, which, anyway, if you run it at 32, at least you'll be on the conservative side of setting that. But the other thing I want to point out is test multiple addresses and name resolution. That we put in because a lot of laptops will go from a wired connection to a wireless connection back to a wired connection, or they'll jump subnets, and so they'll have multiple entries in DNS. And what that will do is it'll actually test each of those until somebody answers. And so make sure those are set. That'll help, especially with you get all the machines coming back in. So any thoughts, Jordan?
Nope, I think you got that one good.
Excellent. All right. Oh, and by the way, in deploy, you'd find that under options, preferences, and that's under performance. Test multiple connections right there. Finally, last thing on inventory is just so you know, go check your scan profile, see what runs on a regular basis and what doesn't. Okay. Right now, the standard scan, if you don't change this default, it runs anytime the scan age is 7 days or older. So that one's going to be running. You'll notice I've got just a ton of these that don't have any triggers on them. So they only get run when I run them. And I do have, check it out, I've got a GPO. My GPO scan runs once a month on the first Wednesday of the month at 8 a.m. It also is limited to just run on workstations. So again, some places to check to see what's running in your scans so that you know what is or isn't running. And just to show you how to do this, right, we're just going to grab the map network drives. We're going to go to edit. We'll go to triggers. We'll say we want this to run monthly on the 4th day of the month at 11 p.m. And we only want this one to run, and you can pick any of the collections or OUs from inventory. We'll just say it only runs on web computers. And there you go. I've limited how often it runs and where it runs and automated that. So again, little tidbit takeaway, you can set those up to run so that you don't have to run them on your own. Jordan.
With being out for a long time, a lot of machines being missed, just be aware that if it all kicks off at the same time as they haven't been running, you probably could run into initial issues with your utilization.
That is a good point. You could kick off a bunch of scans.
So just be aware what has the potential to kick off, I guess. It's for this and for when it comes to your automated packages that may be looking to catch up.
Excellent. Do we have any other questions? And then I'm going to jump into deploy.
Hey, Lex and Jordan, is there a way we can see the last user the way we can see current user? When we do a reboot mass boot, it would be easier than running a script and reviewing the output for results. Thanks, Gordon.
Okay, so without there being something to do that, I'm thinking we could could you pull a PowerShell script? Would that be able to pull that information? A PowerShell scanner, maybe?
There is a pre-built scanner in our GitHub.
Uh-huh.
It does require that you have the auditing of that, so it keeps them longer, but it does scan the machine and tells you which users have logged in and when their last login was.
Very nice. So that's in GitHub?
The GitHub for it's just GitHub PDQ PowerShell scanners, and there's quite a few in there. There are a lot of useful ones, but that one I think has been covered.
There you go, man. Wow, we can do that for you. All right, jumping over to deploy. Now deploy, again, whoops, if you click it too many times, it opens and closes right in front of everybody. Let's find out what's supposed to be running. I mean, really, let's say I did neglect this. Well, odds are I probably did, right? I figured it was doing its job. I'm going to do my job, which is stay at home and eat bonbons and be on my PowerShell diet that we were talking about earlier, right?
With the quarantine, we're looking at up to 2 patch Tuesdays.
2 patch
plus that have gone through. So there's an opportunity for a lot of updates that need to happen.
And 2 pounds of bonbons.
And 2 pounds.
2 pounds of bonbons. Rookie. Okay, again, I want to point this out right here, guys. Check this. Okay. Mostly the thing I want to point out to you is that auto download approvals waiting. I've got auto downloads. Again, if there's anything down here, this is a place to go find what you need, things that you probably should take a look at. I clicked on that. It looks like I've got Firefox, Chrome, and Reader all ready to be, automatically approved for download. And countdown is 6 days and 7 hours, 6 days, 4 hours. Again, I can wait that long, or I can just click it and then hit approve now, and it's going to download. So there you go. We got some new packages coming down. The good thing about that is you'll also notice that my license is good, because if your license isn't good, you're not able to pull those auto downloads. So from there, let's jump over and take a look at my schedules. Let's see what I was supposed to be running while I was out. And if you notice right here, if I hit the right button right here, okay, you'll notice I've got some that have got green dots, I got gray dots, I got ones that are grayed out. What do all these mean? Obviously the green ones mean they're ready to go. A gray dot means this Chrome has been disabled. Okay, if I open it up, you can see, if I open it up, there we go. Triggers enabled, targets, this is, just going through, there's the package. But the schedule itself is disabled. All I've got to do is right click and go start schedule, or excuse me, not start schedule, enable schedule. If I start it, it's going to run right then. I would highly suggest, if there's one disabled, you might want to find out why before you just go and enable it, because there may be a reason. But again, enable, right click, disable your schedule. Now I've got a question. Why do I have Notepad in the 1903 cumulative update? They're gray. There's something with these. So again, there's an issue with these guys. So we'll just start with Notepad. I'm going to open this up. Triggers, fine. Targets, it's going to Notepad. Packages, I don't have a package attached to this. So either one of two things, the package got deleted, or I started some work and didn't finish it, and most likely if it was me, I started some work and didn't finish it. Any thought?
Well, starting work and not finishing it, I believe, is called a Jordan.
Is that, I pulled a Jordan. But that's why this one's grayed out. Again, all you have to do to attach the package is, one, have the package, which I don't. So I'll need to download that, and then I can attach the package from here. So I need to go grab that package and add that if I want that to run. The 1903, you'll notice I've got that cumulative update out there. Targets are good. This one just doesn't have a trigger, so it's never going to run. Again, some things, if they're grayed out, they've probably got an issue that needs to be addressed. Take a look at them, and again, just be careful, guys. I wouldn't suggest you delete anything or enable anything until you know why it was there. So disable stuff before you delete it, and if you're going to enable something that's disabled, just do a little research, make sure you're not messing things up.
Yeah, if it's disabled, just assume that someone did it with good cause.
With good cause?
Yeah.
You're working with me, man. It's like, willy-nilly. Yeah.
Even if you don't respect your coworkers, there's no way there's a good cause. Just assume in this scenario, just because it's better to be safe than sorry on that one.
That is true. Yeah. Finally, with Deploy, I'm assuming we need to get some stuff updated, and there may be a bunch of packages. Guys, this is a good time for a baseline package. This is nothing new. All right, I'm just going to run you through this. I'm going to hold the control key down. Everybody gets 7-zip and Reader and Chrome and Firefox. And if you didn't know that I was holding the control key down, we've got some videos for teaching monkeys how to do IT. I'm just bad joke. Okay, I'm just kidding. But this is a multi-select, and I'm just going to, multi-select. I hit all the wrong buttons. Apparently, I need to watch the Computers for Monkeys. Create new package nesting these. Again, this is your baseline package. And if you're imaging machines, or a machine comes in that needs to be imaged, that's been out for a while, You can send this baseline package. It will take care of it. The nice thing is these will get updated as your auto downloads get updated. Here's your caveat. If Jordan's machine comes in, it's just Jordan's laptop, and I'm going to image it, I'm going to rename it Jordan's laptop, and there's history on these updates of Jordan's laptop or anything like that, you're going to need to clear that history because it will probably not. I mean, obviously that new package has never been run on there, and that will run. But if this is something that's already been in place and you're running that and there's target history, you need to delete that so this will run on that machine.
So if I'm using an example that is in no way from a real world example of me in this office, if I ran a PowerShell and deleted my System32 or everything that could be deleted out of it,
whoopsie,
and that had to be rebuilt, then this is a good time to clear it out of there because it comes back with the same name.
Yeah.
Once I have that reimaged.
Very good. So
if that had happened.
The great thing, and you can go in and onesie twosie that, but Jordan, we've got a PowerShell right here, and this one we used for an auto update. But the great thing is there is PowerShell in there. Open with VS Code. Right down here, I believe. Here it is. Delete schedule history. Jordan, can you see that, man?
I can.
You want to explain a little bit about what's going on there? Obviously, this will need to be modified if you're going to just run it outside of the script, but...
Yep. So it's in PowerShell, but basically it's running our built-in command line tools that's going to find the schedule ID that you list. So you want to make sure you have the right number there because it's going to clear the schedule history of whichever schedule you have. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to go through and test every machine, and if it's on there, remove all of them from there. I do want to apologize. This is something from 3 weeks ago that I said I'd put up for people to use, and I never did. And I've had people asking for it. So today, I need to make some changes, make it so it's a little bit more professional looking. But it will. It will be live after today for those that were looking for it 3 weeks ago.
All right. So there's some SQL and some PowerShell and some should help you clear history. Let's hit some questions. I'm even ready for a speed round.
I love the idea of a speed round. Here we go. Dear Lex and Jordan, I would like to use a PowerShell scanner in inventory to report active applications. Is there a way to make the scanner run as the logged on user instead of needing to run as the default scan user? Thanks, Jim M.
See this? I'm ZZ topping that over to Jordan, PowerShell guy.
Without it in front of me, I can't remember. I think there is a setting to do logged on user, but can you open up a PowerShell scanner? Any one of them in there?
Any one of the PowerShell scanners in inventory?
We'll just find out if I'm remembering correctly real quick.
Windows update history, good enough. Details.
And then edit.
Here we go.
No, apparently I was remembering incorrect. So it looks like as of now, that's just going to run as the credentials in there, not as the...
Could you add a line in PowerShell to tell it to run as somebody else?
I'm going to assume yes, but I can't answer that with any intelligence. I can't guarantee any of that right now without looking into it.
All right. So maybe that's a definite, possibly, maybe.
I'll look into it, and if I can find something, I'll put it up there and see if we can't get it answered.
Cool. What else we got?
Dear Lex and Jordan, is there a way for inventory to load a backup of the database in read-only, view-only, so we can view it for historical purposes? I would like to keep the current active database running and active, but view only an old backup. Thanks, Daryl.
I can think of ways to make that happen, but it's not, you can take a backup, put it on your laptop, or put it on a different machine, put it there and view it there, and then you've got a comparison. But as for the same console, I guess you could point the console to the other database, but that can get very confusing. Jordan, thoughts?
I don't know of a way to do a quick switch.
There is no
database.
Really quick switch. So if I was going to do it, I'd take the backup database, I'd install inventory on the other machine, and then I'd have to do side-by-side comparisons, remote desktop and looking at it that way. That's how I would do it.
Hey Lex and Jordan, am I scanning too much? I have scans that run on heartbeats and daily. Sincerely, Gordon.
Well, I guess, Gordon, the first question I've got is, are you noticing some network network traffic problems?
Have your network admins chimed in with, hey, we've noticed some suspicious activity? So, if you're not seeing any issues, I don't think, whatever works best for you. It's only if you're starting to notice some conflicts or if it's if you see that it's using too much resource.
The other thing you can look at is how efficiently you're running them. I mean, some of those scanners, like the standard scanner runs a whole bunch of stuff, and if you're just looking for computer information scanner, which is included in standard, you could probably just run that and get a smaller subset. It'd be a little more efficient, but might check it what's running. But unless you're noticing issues, I mean, you can always run too many, but until you notice it, I guess, or somebody notices it.
Dear Lex and Jordan, what troubleshooting options do we have if a target computer does not respond after a reboot? Following an office repair, VM Horizon Agent install, or other task, the target system reboots, but Deploy doesn't see the system come back. It has and can be logged into, rebooted manually, etc. Are there ways to force the client to check in? Thanks in advance, Billy Z.
Now, forcing the client to check in, I can go here, and you'll notice down here at the bottom, I got Hawkeye and Summer offline. You can go up and you can automatically kick off a heartbeat by right-clicking, going to heartbeat, or hit Control-H. I'd prefer Control-H because I don't have to click, but Control-H, heartbeat. There you go. You'll notice it's spinning there. It's running a heartbeat on it. It's not online. That's one way because it's actually sending a ping at that moment, trying to pick that up. If it's not responding and you can log into it and that, you may have other connectivity issues, I would say, if you can't get a ping.
So I'm wondering if the amount of time that it's down is exceeding the timeout for the deployment itself, and that's where it's... if that's the case and you know it's back online, if you do a redeploy after it gives that error, it should kick off from the step that failed.
Yep.
I believe. And that way
you can actually select the step. You redeploy it and then go and let's see if I can find one to deployments. So if I were to redeploy this, let's say redeploy, and then you go here, start at step. I could choose what step. Oh, it failed at step 2. So we're going to start it at step 2, and we'll go that way.
But if that's all one step and it's time out before it comes online, there's not a lot you can do for that one if we time out on the deployment.
Very true. Very true.
Hey guys, we are a K-12 and love PDQ Deploy. I've recently moved most of our software deployments from SCCM over to PDQ. The pandemic, however, showed us we need to extend management outside our network. SCCM has an Azure Appliance that can do this. PDQ looks like they want VPN to do this, which we don't support. Are there any plans to have some sort of ability to extend PDQ beyond VPN? Thanks, Peter.
Peter. I got a simple one-word answer for that. Yes. Yeah. We're working on that as we speak. It's being worked on.
Yeah, we don't have an exact timeline, but there are very smart people that are working on that.
Brilliant people working on it, and we're coming out with probably 2 types of options on there for you guys. So
sooner than you think, unless what you think is like next week, then yeah, we're going to disappoint you. But it'll be soon. TM.
Soon.
As we've said in the past.
Yeah.
Hey guys, any news on the Windows Update 2004? And a sub-question, any news on updates for Office 365? Thanks, you're an amazing team. Sincerely, Felipe R.
So the 2004 is one of the big updates. It's like the 1907 or anything like that, which we don't normally support with our product.
Feature jumps, yeah.
For the same reason we saw in the early one where it's not responding back in time. There are people that have made that work that are in our forums. But there's a lot of... It's not straightforward.
I will say this. Can you do it? Sure. Okay? We don't support it because if it does time out, and what'll happen is, let's say you got a slow machine and it hits that updating Windows 30%, 40%, and it times out. And times out on deploy, we get it failed to finish, right? A timeout error. Okay? Well, in all actuality, it finished, right? So we're giving you bad data. We don't like to do that, so... you can do it. Just to understand some of those machines, you're probably just going to have to jump into inventory to verify they actually moved from, 1903 to 2004. There are some great blogs about that, like Jordan said, but, you can do it. Just, and I'm going to caveat everything with this. Okay, automation, you can do a lot of good really fast. You can do a lot of bad really fast. So if you've ever bricked a machine doing a feature upgrade or an OS jump, you know what I'm talking about. So, be careful.
And Kobe saying he thinks they're talking cumulative updates. For cumulative updates, those will be there on the next patch Tuesday.
If it is cumulative updates, yes, they will be.
Final question of the day. I love using inventory for all my Windows devices. However, being in an education environment, we are starting to see more Chromebooks. I would love to be able to use inventory to keep an eye on all my Chromebooks. Do you see this being possible in the future? Sincerely, John.
Everything's possible in the future.
Yeah.
It is definitely something we've been looking into because, education is a big thing in education. So we're looking into it. I can't give you a date or a definitive, but yes, we are. It is important to us. We're looking into it. JJ, Jordan.
Did you say education is the best? What did you say? The best thing in education?
What did I say?
I don't know.
It sounded very tautological.
Did I? Well, I'll say education's important to us.
It is. Yeah. So it's just another one of those. It's come up, but we can't give any definitive answers on that. We don't know what it would take to get that added or how long it would be. There's just too many variables to have a great answer for that.
Absolutely. Well, are you ready to go back to work? I don't know. Hopefully this helps you guys out, and I appreciate you watching. I'm Lex, PDQ. Catch y'all later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, John and Peter M., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us. Stay safe, and we'll see you back here next week.